Hey you guys, Mickey here. I hope you're doing well. I thought I would share some ideas about our connection with trees to just kind of frame this pruning, this training in a different way. So what's really cool to me is how, one, how everything's connected, but how much humans mirror or match, have patterns in similar with trees. And I don't mean like all trees and all humans. I mean, there's as many trees as there are different animals. But in general, you know, humans and sort of like slower growing, older climax trees, oak trees. So humans and oak trees have a lot in common, and I think it's really cool. So we both start out in this very fragile infancy. You know, any seedling in its first year, it's so fragile you could step on it and probably kill it. And so after this infancy, where they need a lot of protection, a lot of care, right? More fragile for consistent waterings when plants are young. After this infancy, they go into this period of just rapid growth and expansion. The adolescence for a tree, it mirrors ours. You know, it's essentially the 2 year to 15 years of, you know, rapid growth and expansion, where we're now resilient enough, we're now strong enough to make it through these challenges and really grow into our environment. And this is the period where, and even in the infancy too, there can be some pruning, but like if you're trying to direct a tree's growth, you're trying to, you know, help it to become a certain, you know, shape, a certain quality of tree in its future, then this is the period, the leverage point for interaction and pruning. In that young stage, when it is pruned, it responds better and redirects growth. So you can cut on it and it will push growth more, you know, lateral, or it will move away. It'll say, hey, you know, I'm learning my environment in this stage, and so when I get that feedback, I turn away from it better. So that's just something cool to think of, that we both share that. And then, you know, trees, just like people, we have a period of adolescence before we come into sexual maturity and worry about reproduction. And it's the same. All of these large trees, they take 15 years about till they're sexually mature and trying to worry about making seeds. So, you know, that's the same. And really, after that point, after sexual maturity, is where, because some of the focus and energy goes towards reproduction, less goes towards learning about the environment and adaptability. You know, the responsiveness to the environment goes down. So after you get a tree that's, you know, 20 years old or so, it is going to be a lot more set in its ways. 20, 30-year-old, like our middle-aged people, we're very set in our ways, and it's a lot harder for us to change the habits, to adapt to new surroundings, new situations, than it is a teenager. And there's, you know, it's just part of the pattern, it's part of life. And so we share that similarity as well. And oftentimes this is what causes the decline in trees. So you know, there'll be a branch break, or there'll be some hard pruning in some of these older trees that are very set in their ways. And rather than respond and kind of heal that and regrow, the tree is so focused on its pattern, its set ways, it leaves that cut branch, and it doesn't heal it quick enough, and rot gets in, or it just, you know, naturally declined because it's losing its its connection to its own integrity. You know, and that's how we as humans often go out, as we lose our integrity, we lose our connection to our own body, we end up, you know, harming ourselves, or, you know, deteriorating something, and that's how we expire. And the lifespans are so similar too, right? Around 100 years for a lot of these oak trees, large trees. And so we are so connected, not just, you know, trees, but all life. When we look to the similarities, when we look to the patterns that connect us, we can really see and understand each other better. So, you know, that was the ramble. You know, what I really am hoping to inspire is say, hey, you know, be like that young adolescent tree. Don't get so locked into our habits or patterns, and embrace the big changes. You know, some of the longest lived trees are coppiced. So these trees, like a coppice, maple, ash, or whatever, this coppicing is where they cut them all the way down to the ground because they're just allowing these trees to grow for poles or firewood. So humans are interacting with these trees on like a 5-7 year cycle, essentially. But coppice trees live hundreds of years longer than the exact same species would untouched in the wild. And so this is good feedback for us. So maybe, you know, we need a drastic change. This is me, I'm talking to myself. Sometimes we need big environmental changes to help keep us young, to help keep us focused on the integrity of our own system and turning back towards ourselves. And so I think that might be a similar pattern where, you know, the people that have lived the longest have been through, you know, large life-changing events, and rather than allowing it to deteriorate them, they adapted to it, they responded to it, and they grew stronger out of it. Because it's not about, you know, being the biggest, and it's not even about living the longest. And you know, it's just about living. And anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that ramble, and I will catch y'all later. Peace.